So,
Hi.
guys, today we have with us here Apurvi Chandela, multiple World Cup winner, Olympian, Arjuna awardee, former world number one. It's lovely to have you here on the second episode.
Thank you so much for having me.
So, how are you spending your lockdown now? I mean, how are you doing your training and everything?
So luckily I have a shooting range at home. So
Yeah,
training is on. I train for about 3 hours a day.
yeah,
Then initially there was a lot of jhadu pocha involved, like household work and doing the dishes. I was
yeah,
in charge of the cleanliness part of it,
yeah.
and so that used to take up most of my time. But now I'm also learning new skills. I'm learning photography and also trying to learn a new language. So yeah, it's pretty okay. Like,
I think I have a confession to make, and I'm sure a lot of fans here feel the same way. We're all super jealous of your travel pictures and all the pictures that you blog. I mean, the places that you go to. I've traveled abroad a lot, but I haven't seen pretty places like that. How do you find these places? And who is your
uh,
photographer?
my mother's my photographer because I usually travel with her. So if I
Yeah,
go for competitions, also she's usually traveling with me. So she takes all the pictures. But
yeah,
I love traveling. So if I'm in another country for a competition, also I
yeah.
make sure like after my training in the evening when I get some time off, I probably take my camera, take my mom along, and we go out sightseeing. So it's a lot of fun. Also, I do a lot of research before going to a place. I like to, search what are the hotspots, like where can
Yeah.
have the best views of the city or anything
True.
like that. So yeah, that's
I
what.
think that's very lucky that you find a photographer in your mother because
Yeah.
whenever I get my mother to click any picture for me, it's a big disaster, and I just have to tell her that it's okay. It's I'm fine without a picture. So it's quite lucky of you. So, I mean, all of us know you as a shooting star today, but I think there's always a point where a person starts from, and we all want to know your journey from being a student to being a shooting star.
Okay, so I started shooting when I was in class 11. Um, Before that, I used to play basketball. So my mother's side of the family, my maternal family, has a lot of basketball players, national and international level.
Right.
So they always wanted one of the kids to, take up the sport. And luckily for them, they got hold of me, and I got into shooting. But in 2008, when Abhinav he won the gold at the Olympics, that's when I learned about air rifle shooting. So then I started air rifle shooting. Otherwise, I knew about shotgun, obviously, because your father's also Olympic medalist. So, but air rifle I didn't know about. So it was only 2008 when I actually learned about the sport. Then I
Yeah.
went to FMS Stadium, tried my hand at both rifle and pistol. Rifle suited me more, and I
Yeah.
started rifle shooting. Yeah, so
No,
that's when I started.
it's quite a big leap from playing basketball to shooting. But
Yeah.
what was that moment that made you realize that I can make a profession out of this?
I never thought of that initially when I started off. I took it one competition at a time. When I started, also, I was excited to play states. Then I qualified for pre-nationals, then nationals, then selection trials. So all that just happened very. I didn't really focus on okay, I need to make a profession out of it. But
Yeah.
I was trying to enjoy the game because I was new to it. And lucky for me, I kept getting selected, and then hard work is all that's required. So I made
Yeah.
sure I'm working hard, and I got through.
I think sometimes when you're in the moment and you're focused on being in the present, you're kind of doing what you're doing, and then after a point you realize that you've really made a huge difference with from when you started to where you are today, and that's when you realize how being in the moment really helps you, and I'm sure you would have felt the same.
Absolutely. Being in the moment is extremely necessary, even in shooting, because when you're firing a shot and you start thinking, okay, I'm gonna, I'll probably win this competition, or any kind of thought that enters your mind. and it
Yeah.
takes you off. It takes your focus away, and the shot can just go out anytime because it's a fraction of a second that counts in shooting.
True.
So that way, I'm lucky enough that I've always been a calm person. So I've been focused all throughout. So I don't lose sight of that, and that's how I carry on. Yeah.
I think in many interviews you have also mentioned that you being an introvert and Abhinav Bindra being the same way, you could really connect with him.
Yeah.
And when you saw his interview and him winning the medal, you could put yourself in his shoes, and that motivated you to take up the sport.
Yeah. So after he won, I was watching one of his interviews. That's when I actually thought that okay, now I can, I can probably try the sport out because it doesn't require any like any kind of dynamic movement. So you just have to be still. It requires
Yeah.
stability. So then I thought, okay, this is my kind of thing that you only need to be still. So probably I can sail through this, and that's why I picked up the sport. Yeah.
So, to all of you who are watching, I would also like to tell you that Apurvi's sister is one of the best chefs in India, and she has this amazing bakery called Dessert in Jaipur, right next to Spice Court. And she's also here watching the live, so I would like to say hi to her. And I hope to get some tasty desserts soon when I come to Jaipur.
Absolutely. It's so difficult for me, because her being a chef and I have a big sweet tooth and she's a pastry chef. So there
Yeah.
are cakes and pastries around me all the time. So being a sports person, it's so difficult to keep control, and then if I end up eating something, I have to go and work out even more. So it's quite difficult. Yeah.
True, and I'm sure right now being locked down, this would be her time to experiment new desserts and combinations and concoctions. So you would be getting to taste a lot of new things right now.
Yeah, luckily she stays not too far away from my house. So initially, I couldn't meet her, but now
Yeah,
since the last 1 week, I've met her once. So yeah, got to try the new recipe. She's saying hi.
yeah, I
Got to
just saw.
try a few cakes and all. But yeah, she's doing an amazing job. Like her Instagram just taken another leap, I think, through this lockdown because
Truly
she's making the most, delicious and yummy desserts all the time. Yeah.
true, and just seeing the pictures of the food she posts makes me feel hungry. So I'm sure how tempted you would be getting just seeing them in
Yeah,
person.
absolutely, absolutely. It's very hard to
Yeah,
resist.
it is. It is.
Yeah.
Now, you know how the situation in India is. I mean, every parent wants their child to take up a mainstream profession like becoming an engineer or a doctor. You have taken up a sport or anything that was earlier taken as a recreational activity, and sports was never taken seriously. It was always for done for fitness. And your sister has also taken up being a chef, and like you mentioned, your uncle was also a golfer, and your family members are into sports. So I'm
Yeah.
sure your parents convincing them would be very easy, or you being from a sports family. But I want to know how was it to convince them and talk to them?
Um, I never had to convince them because it was them who supported me all throughout the way. So initially, like when I was in class 4, I was put into boarding school. Me and my sister both were in Mayo. So they wanted us to try different kind of sports and get involved in extracurricular activities and not just
Yeah,
focus on studies. They were never those kind of parents that you need to get like 90% or 100%, but just passing was enough for them. But they wanted us to try out different things and
yeah,
experiment more like that. So when I wanted to shoot also, they were overjoyed and they took me to the range. My father, like I was in school in 11th, so after my studies would get over, he would make sure he's there to pick me up from school and take me to the shooting range so that I could practice and I don't miss out on training ever.
yeah,
And my mother would, and then after 1 year of doing that, they made a shooting range at home because I was in class 12,
yeah,
and we have electronic targets when we go for internationals, and that
yeah.
wasn't available here. So we made an electronic range at home, and My mother used to sit behind me. After that, in every training session, even now she does that. And I'm a dog lover also, so she would drive me. Sometimes it gets monotonous to just keep
Yeah.
shooting at a still target. And I would get
Yes.
bored. So it'd be like, if you score this much, I'll get your dogs this kind of treat, that kind of treat. That's how she used to keep me motivated all the time. Yeah.
I think that would be a big motivation, you being a
Yeah.
dog lover.
Yeah.
And so many a times, me being a sportsman as well, I'm playing my sports and I'm doing well. But there are times where the parents feel that you've reached the age where you need to have a permanent job as well to be financially stable. Do discussions like that happen at your house as well?
Not really, because nowadays I think it's the best time to be in sport, because there are so many. It opens up so many avenues for you.
True.
I am with ONGC now, so I got a job because of shooting. So, like, sports is a proper career now.
Yeah.
Anyone who wants to take it up can, either join forces, or something like ONGC, or you can go into police or a government job. Anything. There are a lot of more avenues that have opened up. So yeah.
True. And I think with uh, NGOs like OGQ and government agency like TOPS, they're really going into the depth of sports and wanting to support all the athletes. So I think that's really bringing up the sport in India.
Yeah, absolutely. And also Khelo India and everything, picking up those people from the grassroots level and making them train and all of that is absolutely incredible. And the
Yeah.
kind of support that OGQ is provided, I think it's exceptional. Not everybody knows about it. What an amazing job they're doing.
True.
You, as a sports person, you don't have to worry about anything. You don't have to worry about your equipment, your coaching, anything. Everything's taken care of by them.
Yeah.
So that really all that's left is for you to focus on the game. That's it.
Yeah.
They take away all the worries apart from that. So yeah.
Yeah. We actually have one of the OGQ physios, Chinmay, here watching the live. So hi,
Okay.
Chinmay.
Hi, Chinmay.
Chinmay is a really fun person on the range. He's always
Yeah.
cracking jokes and he's really good with his work as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. He used to travel with us a lot with
Yeah,
the Rising System team. Now I think he's with the shotgun. But
yeah.
um, it's amazing to have these people around. He's saying hello.
So you had started shooting and you used to train in Jaipur and SMS Stadium, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh, you also initially you did not have any coaches at your disposal, so the shooters that were shooting there used to guide you with the posture and everything.
yeah,
And then you moved to Delhi for studying sociology honors.
yeah,
So, you being in Delhi and Delhi being the capital has a very different culture from all the other states. There's a party culture here. It's very different from the other states, but in
yeah.
particular Jaipur. So, did you ever get distracted from your surroundings, or how did you keep yourself focused in this time?
I've never been into the party scene. I love being at home. I'm a homebird.
Yeah,
And I'm an introvert, so I don't really, like going out and meeting new people. I love being at home with my pets and just chilling at home. So that's
yeah,
never luckily bothered me. Even when I
yeah,
was in Delhi, I was staying with my aunt. So after college, I would come back, be at home. I would go and train. So I've always been very disciplined. I've not been the bratty one, like someone who wants to go and enjoy never, like
yeah.
go and party never. So yeah,
But I'm sure you would love listening to music, being at home, and being with the family.
yeah, absolutely. I love that. And then there's Netflix and chill sometimes at night. So all of that goes on.
That's amazing. Now we also from your Instagram, we see and learn a lot of fitness techniques from you. You're a fitness freak, so we want to know that there's this confusion amongst a lot of people and also the youngsters that are just starting off shooting now that physical fitness is very important. Now, that is completely true, but we want to know the difference between being physically fit and being physically fit for shooting.
So being physically fit would be to, I think it's important in related to shooting, I think it's important because it also gives a lot of mental stability. Being
Yeah.
fit affects the mind a lot. You'll be in a happier state of mind, and for me personally, only when I'm happy can I do well at something. Even if
True.
I'm going on the range, it's important for me to be happy and enjoy the sport, because otherwise there's no point really in continuing something that doesn't give you happiness. So yeah,
True.
that luckily for me has been good, because also I think physically, um, in my sport, in my event in
Yeah.
particular, there's a lot of pressure that comes on the lower back in air
Yes.
rifle shooting when you're standing and shooting for long hours. So yoga and flexibility and all is very, very important, and
Yeah.
especially for the ones who started earlier on in their careers, because that's when the spine is taking shape, and that can really affect, once you go down the line, you've continued
Yeah.
shooting for over a few years, that's when you'll see the impact actually coming on your body. So yeah, it's extremely important to be fit either ways, in
Yeah.
general also, and for sports, only because it keeps you fresher for long, and you're happier.
You're
Yeah.
completely right. And there's also specific physical exercises that you need to do for shooting in air rifle in particular. So for all the budding athletes that are coming up, can you tell them what are the exercises that are good and the ones that are not for air
um,
rifle?
Core strength is extremely important,
Yeah.
and yoga is extremely important. These two things are a must for any air rifle shooter.
Yeah.
Um, because yoga is also, there are a lot of different forms of yoga that you can do, and
Yeah.
so I do that on a regular basis. I love my yoga. In the mornings, I do my yoga. So yeah, yoga is extremely important.
What about the impatient people who can't sit at a place for too long?
For them, my sister is one of those. We're very,
I'm
very.
one of them as well, so I wanted to know.
For them, I think core exercises, like I think abs and all are really fun to do for people who are very energetic. I think they love doing abs and burpees and different variations of planks. So there are a lot of exercises these days, and there are so many people sharing that kind of information online also,
Yeah.
that you can just look it up and start doing it yourself. So yeah.
Yeah. Now, being in a sport, standing at a place for long hours, wearing your uniform, I don't know the term for it, hence I'm saying uniform.
We call it
It's
kit. So
the kit. It's very
yeah,
difficult because it's of a very hard material,
yeah,
and
yeah.
it also gives you back pain in the long run. So, what are the kind of rehabilitation exercises that you do to make your body feel more at ease?
So I stretch on a regular basis. Stretching is another thing that's extremely important. It's
Yeah.
important to do pre-warm up so that you warmed up before going into the session, and it's important to stretch post the session. I think these two things, if you do on a regular basis and include them in your normal routine, I think they'll help a lot.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think stretching is one of those, and also swimming, because swimming just relaxes all the muscles, and
True.
all of them are working at the same time. So it's good both ways. You can just, if you have a swimming pool around, then go for a swim. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think a lot of people are putting in questions, wanting to know about your dogs. So, can you just tell their names, the breed, and a little about them?
So they are pugs. One is Shera and one is Gabbar. My sister named them. It's not me. She wanted to keep these names, Gabbar and Shera, so she kept those. And they're quite old now. One is almost 11 and a half.
Okay.
One is 6. So I was really young when they came in.
Yeah.
I've always had dogs since the time I was born. One or two dogs have always been there. And I know you
Yeah.
also have Dobermans. So yeah,
Yeah.
two of
I
them,
mean,
right?
whenever someone comes home, they get so scared seeing the Doberman, but
Yeah.
they've never been tied in their life, so they're as good as Labradors. So
Okay.
if the Mali is coming in, or someone is coming to meet us at home, they'll just go, they'll wag their tails around and want to sit right next to them. So the super
Okay.
friendly dogs.
So but they look quite scary. Even I had one when I was very, very small. But
Yeah.
yeah, usually people get scared. If they're scared of dogs, they'll be scared of any kind of breed. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But you travel so often. I mean, right now, lockdown is there, so everyone is at ease. But otherwise, your schedule is very hectic. So how do you spend your time with your pets? I mean, don't they get lonely? Don't they miss you?
They miss me a lot. My father loves pets as well, so if I'm not there, then they'll straight away go to him. So they're
Yeah.
happy that if I'm their person always. But for me, it's very difficult when I'm traveling. I'm missing them all the time. So I call her Mama. Mama's usually with me. I call her Papa, and I'm like, please make me FaceTime with them so that I can see them at least. So yeah.
Yeah.
If
I
I
think
don't follow up and check up on anyone, I make sure I check up on my dogs at least. How are Gabbar and Shira? That's a must always.
so. So we can say that after shooting, they are your second love.
Absolutely. They're my first love. Shooting is my second love. So
So
yeah.
we have a few questions from the fans, so I think we'll just take them up now.
Okay.
So Shubham Khandelwal wants to know that when you met your shooting idol Abhinav Bindra for the first time, what was the feeling like?
Um, I was so nervous at that time. I saw him. I was at an international competition when I first saw him, and I was telling Mama, Mama, look, that's Abhinav. So yeah, I was extremely nervous, and then my parents took me to him because I was an introvert. I would never go on my own.
Yeah,
So my parents were like, "It's okay, come." Then I met him for the first time, and it was absolutely amazing. And I've been so lucky to have played Olympics alongside him for it was his last Olympics, and I got to play
yeah,
the same Olympics were my first, so I got to play with
yeah.
him there. And also my first Commonwealth gold. He also won a gold just the day before, and I won mine the next day. So I think
Wow.
these are two very special moments that I have in my memory.
And I think what people feel when they see a celebrity around, they feel that they are unapproachable, and I think that's what I felt the first time too when I saw Abhinav Bindra walking on the shooting
Yeah,
range. But when I actually went up to him and I spoke to him, he was so humble and down to earth, and he was
absolutely.
conversing with me like a friend. So it actually felt really nice, and one gets inspired by such people.
Yeah, absolutely. That's very, very true.
Yeah. Now we have NT Singh Huda who has a question that how how do you prepare yourself before a match? So right before you walk into your station or your spot,
Yeah.
how do you mentally fine tune yourself?
So I basically self-talk throughout before my match starts and also during the match. So I'm constantly telling myself what I need to focus on, what my shot process is going to be like, and then I
Yeah.
keep reminding myself to breathe every uh, one to in between shots. I tell myself that you need to
Yeah.
breathe. And apart from that, if I have too much of match pressure, then I'll probably go watch a movie,
Yeah.
and just change my mindset or whatever. And if I don't have too much of pressure, then I need some because I think it's important. I think nervousness is what differentiates, whether you're in a match or in a training session. So it's important to have a little bit of match pressure so that you have that alertness and you're all set.
True.
You don't make silly mistakes. You're very attentive and focused. So for me, it's very important to have a little bit of match pressure. So if I
Yeah.
don't have it, then I probably think about this is an important match or give myself a little bit of pressure just by
Yeah.
self. So yeah.
Do you have a particular ritual? Like I, right before my matches, I put a particular song on repeat and I'm listening to it throughout. Or some people tie their laces in a certain way, they pack their bags in a certain way. Do you have any particular ritual that you
I
follow?
listen to one particular song most of the time. So it used to be another one when I started shooting, and it's a different one now down the
Can we
line.
know the name of the song?
Yeah, so it used to be Waving Flag when the Soccer World Cup
By
was
Kenan,
happening.
yeah.
Yeah, so that came, yeah, that one. So that used to be it. Now it's Hall of Fame.
Now it is
Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame. Alright.
So these two are my
So
go-to.
Vinay Kumar wants to know that how many years does it take for an athlete to get into the Indian team?
Oh, that really depends on the kind of hard work that you're putting in, how
Yeah.
dedicated you are. I think it's extremely important to not lose focus.
Yeah.
If you have ups and downs, everybody has those. So it's important to just remain focused and continue.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Now,
actually, when I started off, I didn't really think that I'd get anywhere. I just thought
yeah,
started off for the sake of it, for having fun, but
yeah.
just let time take its course, and you just focus on hard work. So yeah,
Like you said, you were being in the moment, and you were just doing what you had to and what you loved, and you reached where you are today.
yeah, absolutely. So yeah,
So you also got the honor of being in the Indian contingent for the Rio Olympics. I think that's every athlete's dream to be there in the contingent, be around all the athletes that you look up to. We want to know how that experience was for you, for walking in the games village to just having that the sticker of the Rio on your weapon.
um, I still have that stick on my weapon. So it was absolutely surreal because I remember being in the dining hall, the mess, and just taking food, and Michael Phelps walks right through, and you just like, oh my god, and
Yeah,
it was absolutely amazing. And I met one or two more. I met some tennis players who were very famous, and it was absolutely amazing. Just
yeah,
to have these kind of people around you and you being out
yeah,
there with them. I never thought I'd, make it to, something that big, because when I was small, I
yeah,
used to look at Olympics as something which is unattainable, unreachable for me probably. But
yeah.
time has taught me that you just have to believe in yourself. That's
Yeah.
all that it takes. So yeah.
And I mean, in your heart, you might be their fan, but when you go meet them, you're actually talking to them like an equal because you're a competitor
You
there just
there,
like them.
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah,
that happens quite a lot. So yeah.
yeah. And what about opening ceremonies? I think that's one of the most glamorous and extravagant events.
Yeah.
But
But
some people don't prefer to go if the event
yeah,
is right after. So,
exactly.
what about you?
My event is the first event of every games. So it starts with my event. So I can never attend the opening ceremony. I remember just attending one or two. One was at the Asian Games. I couldn't attend at the Olympics also because the next day I had my match. So on
All
the
right.
day of the opening ceremony is my pre-event training. So
Okay.
I do that, then I have to rest, and I can't actually go because you have to stand in line for about 2-3 hours,
Yeah.
and I would probably get tired. So that's why I
Yeah.
prefer just staying put and resting it out. Yeah.
But I'm sure you must be watching it live because those are the moments that you don't really want to miss.
Yeah, I make sure that somewhere in the village there is a TV, and whoever can't go is watching out there. So I make sure I'm one of those people just sitting out there watching on TV. And as
Yeah.
soon as India's contingent is out, like they walk
Yeah.
in the stadium and that's done, then I go back and I go off to sleep. But I make sure to watch that.
I think it's just us being patriotic. Everyone wants to see their flag being waved there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And in Rio, you finished 34th. And in many interviews, you said that it was a major mental setback for you and it took you
Yeah.
time to get out of it. But within 2 years, you went on to become world number one. So we wanna know this journey of determination. How did you make that possible?
So in 2016, before the Olympics, a few months before that, I went through an injury. So
Okay.
after that, my performance was dropping a little bit, and I was extremely obviously heartbroken not winning at the Olympics and performing well. So
Yeah.
that took me a lot of time. I was already a quiet person. I became even more quiet. I would be, within myself and not talk to anyone much. I had a lot of thoughts going on of,
Yeah.
what went wrong, what I could have done right.
Yeah.
And it was my mother throughout that phase who stuck by me, who made sure that she would talk to me and get everything out of me, because it's
Yeah.
important to talk to someone, and only then can you come out of that and
Yeah.
move forward. So she was that one person for me who was there. She's been there through all my ups and downs,
I
So
think
yeah,
mothers play a very important role.
very important role,
I
absolutely.
remember I was in the Indian team when I was 12, and I used to travel for competitions. Now in the under 21 category, usually you have your teammates who are 20, 19,
Yeah,
and being around them, my mother obviously wanted to accompany me so that I'm not
I remember
I
seeing
don't
you
get into all
also
the.
at one of the junior competitions in Germany.
Yeah, we did, and I think she used to travel with me. She used to we used to eat together. So not only has she seen all that with my father, then she went on to do it again for me. So
Yeah,
I think mothers
that's
are
absolutely
relentless.
incredible. Yeah, absolutely. So she was one person who really helped me out, get out of that phase, and I just kept. Then I thought that I can't give up now. I still have to achieve my dreams, and
Yeah.
I just to my path, and I made sure I put in all the hard work that's required to get there. And just turns out that if you don't lose hope, you can still succeed. So yeah, it was an amazing feeling becoming world number one after that setback.
I think after that, you would have, in a way, gotten reassured again that you have the talent, you are
Exactly.
already putting in the hard work, and
Yeah.
I think that would have really prepared you to be able to go back into another games, that is
Yeah.
Tokyo, and win a medal there.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's important to go through those downs also. I think they're as important as the highs that you get in your career, but you
Yeah,
get to learn so much more when there's a setback and some
true.
kind of a failure that you go through. They teach you so much, and that's actually changed me as a person also a little bit.
Yeah.
And I'm really glad that I went through that. But unfortunately, it had to be the Olympics. But I've learned my lesson. So yeah.
But now that you'll be going for the second one, I think after winning the medal there, you won't really think about that.
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you. Yeah,
So, like you mentioned about Zool, so I had another question in mind that a lot of other shooters would have faced as well. Now, in countries like Germany and Zool, the place where we compete,
yeah,
it's usually villages that we have competition in, not
yeah,
the main cities. And
yeah,
usually the armories are very far away from the place where you're shooting, and you have to walk a
yeah,
lot to bring your heavy gun and put it back there.
yeah,
Then your shuttle timings are bad sometimes. You finish
yeah,
off in the afternoon and you have to wait till evening to go back to the hotel. So,
yeah.
how do you deal with these kind of things?
I have blisters in my hand because of that. They permanently there because of lifting the heavy case. So my rifle
Yeah.
weighs about 5 kilos, and with the case it becomes 10. So it's
Wow.
absolutely a task picking it up and taking it. And then
Yeah.
especially places where they don't have lifts or anything, and you have to take the staircase because we
Yeah.
also have a suitcase full of kit, stand, shoes, everything. So it's also a task flying with the rifle and the kit because you
Yeah.
have like about 30 kgs of just your
Yeah.
equipment weighs that much, so it's absolutely crazy.
Including South Korea, I think Changwon also. There's a lot of steps that you have to
Yeah,
walk to
yeah,
go to the range. Yeah.
yeah. In Changwon, yeah, quite difficult.
And what about equipment control? Has there ever been a situation where you're nervous getting your equipment control done?
Yeah, so the 2018 Commonwealth Games that I played, I had a new kit, and I it like we need usually for air rifle shooters you need to at least wear it in training for a couple of weeks so that it becomes a little loose because we
Yeah.
have our thickness and stiffness always gets checked.
Yes.
So out there it wasn't passing. So then I had to take a cutter and literally make cuts on the whole kit. It was absolutely crazy. And I was from afternoon till evening. I was just sitting out there using a hammer, using a knife, using a cutter, just
Yeah.
anyhow, just getting it to loosen up a
Yeah.
bit so that it could pass. And next day, I shot a qualification world record, which
Wow.
was a very high score. And the equipment people straight away were like, get into the equipment control for a random check. and luckily it all passed that time also. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's one moment of nervousness that
Yeah.
I won't forget, regarding my equipment.
I think for all us shotgun shooters, we usually wear caps while shooting. And
Yeah.
if we have a brand like Under Armour or some symbol made on it, they straight away tell us to take the cap off. So then we have to rush and buy the ISSF cap and then bring it, get it checked by
Oh,
them.
okay.
And so every time we're always nervous getting the equipment control done.
Yeah. Ours, they put tapes on us. If we're entering the final and they can see the manufacturer's name or anything, they'll take the
Yeah.
tape and they'll just cover it up with that.
Yeah.
It completely ruins the glamour portion of it. So you can't really do much.
It
So,
does. It does. Now we've actually so I put out a story asking people to ask you questions, and
okay.
I think 90% of the questions that came to me were that Apurvi, what is your ideal man, and what are the traits that you want in your man? So would you like to
Oh
answer that?
God. I haven't thought that through, because I'm so focused on shooting right now. If
Yeah.
any of my relatives and parents also ask me, I'm like, just let me focus on shooting as of now. You guys are coming.
Yeah.
But it just has to be, I think, a nice person. That's it. That's all that
Yeah.
matters. Heart
So
is clear, nothing else.
can you name two three traits that you want to see in any ideal person?
In any ideal person, I think one would be kindness.
Yeah.
Um, that's extremely important. And just letting me also pursue what I want and
Yeah.
not be a control freak. But I think these would be two. So
And I think the most important thing would be that he needs to be a dog lover.
yeah, that's also one. Yeah, very important one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we actually have a fun rapid fire round for you,
Okay.
and I'll just be asking, and post that we'll get you to ask any two questions that you want to your fans, and if they get the right answer, then they'll get a giveaway gift.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Yeah.
So, are you ready? You have to answer really fast. You don't have time to think.
Okay. I'll try my best.
Yeah. So your first question is, you have to choose your biggest competition. I'm going to name four people.
Okay.
First is Anjum. Second is Teen Jenny. Third is Hannah from Korea, and then is Macintosh from Great Britain.
I think in shooting we're competing with ourselves, so I think I'll be my biggest competition. But
Okay.
if you want me to choose, I'd still say me because you have to beat yourself in air rifle shooting. It's just you against you. So yeah,
Yeah, and I think everyone is so neck to neck that it's
absolutely.
like everyone's on the same platform.
Yeah. Even in India, it's like the competition is so crazy, it's so intense that we go
Yeah.
outside, everyone's just beating the world because you're facing the toughest competition back home. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's one thing.
And I think there was a recent news from the NRA that said that Indian shooters would train in India because the biggest competition is here in India because we have the
Yeah,
best shooters in the world.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. We do have the best shooters in the world. Most of them, everyone, like a lot of them are ranked in the top 10 of the country. So I think
Yeah.
that's incredible. Shooting has taken a huge leap in the last 2-3 years in India. So yeah.
So now the second question is, who's your closest friend in shooting?
In shooting, I think it would be as of now in the from the Indian shooting team. It would be Anjum. Me and her are roommates in almost every competition. In every competition since the last 2-3 years, actually.
Yeah.
So I think it would be Anjum then.
So has there ever been a situation where both of you have been on the podium together?
There have been such moments, yes. So in the mixed team also recently, in the last July,
Yeah.
um, me and Deepak, we won gold and her and Divyansh won bronze. Then before that in Munich at the World Cup in the mixed event, her and Divyansh won gold, me and Deepak, we have won silver. So yeah,
Yeah.
we, and yeah, so yeah.
And
Another.
if not a shooter, what else would you be?
If not a shooter, I wanted to become a sports journalist only for the sake of being on a field and capturing the sport live. Because I was a fan of cricket and soccer. I used to watch that no matter what the time is, even if it's at
Yeah,
3 o'clock in the morning, I would be sitting in front of the TV and watching that match. So I've always dreamed of being there in the stadium live and capturing it. So it's more to do with photography side of sports journalism, not
yeah.
the parts you ask questions, but yeah. So I think
I
that.
think you also mentioned that you used to make notes of what time the events are going to take place,
Yeah.
and then you used
Yeah.
to stay up all night and watch
Yeah.
them.
I did of the World Cups and of the IPLs. I used to do that.
Yeah,
I used to write down the whole schedule and follow it. So yeah.
that just shows that you're a true sports lover.
Yeah, that's what
So
also inspired me to get into it. So yeah,
I want you to choose between these two achievements of yours. Which one was closer to your heart? The World Cup Munich Gold or the finals world record in Delhi?
I think both, yeah, they both very special to me. But I think it would be the final record that I made in Delhi.
All right.
Because that was in front of the home crowd and they were the way they were cheering on for me because
Yeah.
I remember in the beginning of the final I was not leading that much, so once I started they also started with their they were rooting loudly and that just gave
Yeah.
me a pump, it pushed me even more to
Yeah.
shoot better. So yeah, that's one very special moment.
There's nothing better than a home crowd cheering for you.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So which was your most embarrassing moment on the shooting range?
On the that's a difficult one. Yeah, how do I think of that? Most embarrassing would be must be one of the matches where the home crowd is sitting behind me and I'm shooting like crap, probably because
No, so I'll give you an example. Like for me, it
yeah.
would be me walking into a competition, into the round, and I was so occupied with the preparation and everything that I forgot to carry my ammunition with me, and
Oh,
then I had to rush back to get the
yeah.
ammunition. So,
My
any incident like this that happened with you?
I am very, very organized that way, so I make sure everything, I have everything before I go for a match. So
Yeah,
I can't really think of anything that I've forgotten like that.
yeah.
But yeah, nothing really comes to my mind in those terms.
And what is your favorite TV show?
Friends, all
Friends. I
time
think
favorite.
that's everyone's
Yeah,
favorite show.
yeah.
I was actually watching it an hour back right now.
Oh, okay. So I think since the last 10 years, it's been on repeat. Like every night before going off to sleep, I probably watch one or two episodes and then I go off to sleep. Friends is it's not even a show. It's just something else. It's out of the world. Like, Friends is absolutely amazing. So yeah.
Yeah, and I think regardless of the number of times you see it, every time you see it again, it seems like you're seeing it for the first time.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's always funny. The humor also, even though they stopped shooting in 2003, it's still
Yeah,
so funny. Like you still find the same thing so funny. I think they were way ahead of their time while making that show. So yeah,
yeah.
amazing.
So this is the final rapid fire question. What is the one fashion trend you just cannot relate with?
I just cannot relate with.
Yeah, or you just don't understand.
I just don't understand. I think it would be okay. It's a rapid fire. I know I'm thinking a lot but just uh, ripped jeans. Ripped jeans. I don't understand. Yeah, yeah,
Okay. So we actually had a very interesting conversation where we covered how you started shooting, what are the struggles that you faced, and also got to know a fun side of yours that people don't really get to see. So
yeah.
it was lovely conversing with you. And before going, I want to ask you one final thing. What is the one thing you would like to tell everyone, the fans watching, to motivate them to make their time in this lockdown more productive?
I think it's important to if you're focusing on now at the lockdown, then I think this is the right time to learn new skills or probably do things that you've put on hold for the longest. Like I am one of those. I've taken up on a lot of things that I wanted to, and I never got the time to do that. Like
Yeah.
learning photography, I'm doing an online course. So yeah, just everything's available online. So you just look it up and you start, whatever your interests are, you follow them. And apart from the lockdown part of it, I think it's important to just work hard. Nothing comes easy, and everyone goes through ups and downs. Failures are as So yeah, failures are as important as succeeding. So yeah, just
Yeah.
stay focused and just go for the goal that you have.
So wonderful words of wisdom we got from you there. We also have Kamesh here watching this show, and it's lovely having you here, Kamesh, watching us. He's always
He's always been my favorite
he's
journalist.
always on the move, covering all of us, and
Yeah,
it's lovely interacting with him and meeting him at the sporting arena.
absolutely. Absolutely.
It was lovely having you here on the show, and I really look forward to meeting you soon after the lockdown on the
Thank you
shooting.
so much. Same here. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thank you.
So, guys, thank you so much for being here for the second episode of CollaboNation. We had a lovely interaction with Apurvi, and we got to know some insights into her life that will really motivate us to do better. And I will be coming back to you with another interesting guest with an amazing success story soon. So, stay tuned and keep watching. Thank you so much.